Welcome to City Life. Today on the program, the Canterbury Earthquake Children's Trust. We speak to one of the winners of the Kmart Trolley Dash. We have a sex therapist on the program and Janice Gray is here. But first on the program, Jim from the Alcohol Advisory Council. Welcome to City Life.
Hey, thanks very much.
So tell me what the response has been to the Canterbury earthquake.
Well, one of the things that we realise is that people are really quite stressed, you know, given the number of earthquakes since September 4 and the ongoing aftershocks. And so, you know, there's been some local reports that have been put out. For example, in primary healthcare, general practices, doctors have noticed that there has been an increase in the need for counselling services to deal with the stress. And so part of the Canterbury DHB response is to set up a mental health earthquake response team, which is much needed.
Okay, so what other things does the council do?
Well, the Alcohol Advisory Council, we perform a number of different roles. Is that we work with key stakeholder partners and agencies to reduce alcohol-related harm across the country. I guess our core business is to encourage a change in the binge drinking culture of New Zealand overall.
What's that culture like in Christchurch at the moment?
Well, local reports suggest that, like in terms of the inner city bars closing, that there's certainly been an increase in people going to suburban bars. And I guess with that is that, you know, police have made a number of arrests, mainly around people who are displaying yobbish behaviour. So most definitely, you know, people have moved out of the inner city, gone to suburban bars. And there's also a notable increase in those that are drinking at home, which is quite a concern.
Right. So what are you doing there to combat that concern?
Well, we work with various, as I mentioned, various key stakeholders. We work with the police, work with community and public health, and that's about increasing awareness around, you know, excessive drinking, and working with the emergency department. One of the things that they've reported on lately is that, in fact, there has been a decrease in those that are presenting with alcohol issues in the ages of 16 to 30. So in March of this year, there were around 87 presentations, whereas last year there were 152. In April this year, there were 90 presentations compared with last year, when there were 127, and in just this last month, in May, there's also been a decrease in presentations to the emergency department. And what they're suggesting actually is that because the inner city is closed, people have moved out to the suburban areas. Therefore, you know, they're not really in close proximity to the emergency department. So in some ways, I guess that's a good thing. But that doesn't mean that the you know, the alcohol-related issues have actually dissipated or lessened.
How are the liquor bans going? There's one in Riccarton at the moment. I know they're looking maybe of getting one in Papanui. How's it going?
Look, as far as I know, you know, it's a bit of a softly approach. Basically, the liquor bans are really simply because the increase of patronage to the area. So it's one way of just kind of monitoring what's going on, and I guess you know, working with their community to ensure that, you know, people aren't drinking excessively and, you know, walking the streets and that type of thing.
Let's look at what you're doing nationally. What's the national campaign at the moment?
Well, the national campaign is Ease Up on the Drink, and really the aim of that campaign is to encourage people to approach someone that they care about, whether it be a friend, whether it be a colleague, someone that they're concerned about, you know, who might be drinking excessively or may have issues around drinking.
Let's look at some of the signs to look out for. I mean, you may not know that your friend is drinking excessively, but what are the other signs you could actually look out for?
Well, I guess, you know, one of the clues might be is that you could get up in the morning, like if it's yourself, you get up in the morning and you think to yourself, oh my God, did I do that last night? You know, so, and then you have kind of a bit of an inkling that there could be something going on with you. The same thing applies, I guess, with friends, is that when you're out and about, you know, you're having a good time, because drinking's okay, actually. It's, you know, it's a form of relaxation, it's a way to socialise with others. But, you know, you might see that your friends are behaving in a particular way that's probably not, you know, the usual style. So it gives you kind of a clue that maybe something's up. And so the campaign is really about saying, hey, look, I care about you and I'm concerned about your drinking.
Okay. Just thinking about Christchurch at the moment, we had those large aftershocks last Monday.
Yes.
And I mean, I may have popped to the supermarket to get myself some wine, but there were lots of other people getting alcohol too. You know, why do we do this? Why do we turn to alcohol after something like this?
Well, you know, I think it's really important to note that actually, you know, at times of stress, people do tend to drink more alcohol. So it's quite a normal thing, you know, it's actually okay. So, you know, the Advisory Council, we're not saying to people that, that drinking's a bad thing by any means. What we are saying, though, is that if you start to get a bit of an idea that it's becoming problematic, then it's very important you do something about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where can we go for support, Jim?
Look, there's a national service based here in Christchurch called the Alcohol Drug Helpline. They're experienced counsellors that will answer your call. Now, they can provide you advice, they can send you information, and if need be, they can refer you to an appropriate agency to get the support you require. Look, it's also important to know that they're not there to lecture you. They're there to be a listening ear and to explore the issue that you need to talk about, and then they can put you in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are many people using the service at the moment?
It's kind of interesting because, as you say, with the Monday earthquakes, it's kind of like people have got other priorities. So it's housing, it's water, it's power, and those types of things. And like there has been a lull, but most definitely, you know, we forecast that there will be an increase once people have got themselves settled, start to realise that actually they are drinking a wee bit too much, and that they need to do something. So if you know, if you have an issue around alcohol or someone you care about does, you can ring 0800 787 797.
Okay, 0800 787 797. That's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Jim, thank you so much for coming on City Life today.
Hey, thank you.
Now I'd like to welcome to City Life Helen, who is a sex therapist. Welcome to City Life.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me what the role of a sex therapist is.
Well, it's one of the roles that I have in my therapy in general. I work with couples and individuals in a whole range of areas. Being a sex therapist really requires me to be comfortable talking about sex, to be raising difficult questions with people around the most private and intimate parts of their lives. And people are scared to talk about sex. So a sex therapist really needs to be comfortable using terms, explicit terms, and asking questions about private happenings in their relationships. There are many layers, of course, to being sexual and having a sexual relationship, and we need to be familiar and skilled with unravelling the layers and the things that influence us.
Why was it something that you decided to get into?
I'm often asked that, and when I think about it, I'm slightly appalled at the fact that for a few years, in the 90s anyway, I worked with couples but never really asked explicit questions around their sexual functioning, what was happening or not happening in their relationship. And it's rather a painful thought because many opportunities were missed, and so often that issue is a problem that people come with, but they cannot talk about it. bravely entering that and talking about it with people who find it hard.
In Christchurch at the moment, I'm sure there are lots of couples who are experiencing tension. They're not into things they used to be into. You know, why is this? And is this right to be feeling this way?
Well, I think at the best of times, there is tension in the relationship about high desire, low desire, and that's kind of normal. Right at this time, however, people maybe seek sex because it's one way for them to feel better, to feel connected. Many people, and I don't think I need to say this, they're in extraordinary, stressed and preoccupied times. They can't make plans or decisions, and they're tired, they're sleepless, they're anxious, they're worried about their children. Not sexy. Most of all, and I don't think we talk about it enough, I think we're all in grief. We've lost so much. We've lost so much of our identities and our possessions and our sense of place. And when we're in grief, when we're in that position, it's really difficult to want to feel sexy or be sexy. And yeah, those are the limitations I think that people have.
So how can they deal with that? What would your advice be to them?
Well, what would my advice be? I've got a list of things that I've thought of in coming here today.
Good.
And I don't think there's one answer to what is normal. You know, I think there are so many answers to that, and we're all seeking a new normal anyway. So I've thought about how people may be going to bed early, for example, because it's cold, they haven't got heating, it's a place of comfort. So when you're there together early and you've got more opportunity to be together, is it sex that you're seeking or someone close? Maybe it's intimate time you need together and not necessarily a focus on sex. Another thing I'd ask people is, are you aware that kindness is the most reliable aphrodisiac? Do you as a couple have time enough together? Are you making opportunities to maybe have the children looked after and go out together and do something that just the two of you can do? Or are you preoccupied with the children and hiding behind troubles that you're having with your partner? Is conflict in the way? And sometimes couples will make love and try to make up that way, but maybe not let go all of their concerns and hold on to resentments that build. I know that people were saying that the sex workers have never been so busy as when we had the relief workers, early relief workers come to the country. Yes, and people do seek sex for comfort and for relief and to feel good. And that's kind of normal too for some people. Are people out there feeling deprived and lonely and not talking about it? It's one of the things that I think is really helpful to do, and that is actually speak about it. Important.
Okay.
Yes.
So how are you finding it in Christchurch at the moment? Are you seeing a lot of couples?
Yes. And I've been doing some relief work for those who have sought help through EAP systems, through their work. And I think it's important for people to know that if they are feeling concerned in a range of ways, and particularly, it doesn't matter whether it's a sexual issue, they may feel, oh, that's not important. Yes, it is, because I think our sexuality is essential, very central to our community. If we feel good about ourselves and our sexuality, if our relationship therefore functions well, our family will function well and our community will function well. So seeking help is a really wise thing to do through EAPs, and that's through our work situation, through the family court, which offers 6 sessions, free sessions, every year, through WINS, because those people who are on benefits and are seeking assistance, they should be able to access through income support funding for counselling, through the Yellow Pages. There's a list of a lot of us.
Okay, great.
And Sex Therapy New Zealand is an organisation specifically providing sex therapists throughout the country. We work with a range of issues from infidelity, erectile problems. I have a whole list of concerns that people bring. And if people want sex therapy in a specific way, they can go to our website, www.sextherapy.co.nz. And there's a great website.
Great. Helen, thank you so much for coming on the program and sharing that with us.
You're very welcome.
We'll be back after the break. You're back with City Life, and I'd like to welcome Tony and Debbie from South Island Fresh Foods. Good to have you on the program.
Morning.
Thanks. Now, you've set up a trust. Tony, tell me about this.
South Island Fresh Foods, we're a food business based here in Christchurch. We've obviously been affected by the earthquake, as a number of other people in Canterbury have. So we wanted to contribute in some way. So what we've decided to do is set up a trust called the Canterbury Earthquake Children's Trust. It's designed for those kids who have lost a parent as a result of the earthquake. At this stage, we understand there's about 60 odd kids in that situation, so we just wanted to contribute in some small way. And so we've had a lot of assistance from some of our suppliers. We've had a legal firm in town, Buttle Finlay, who have assisted with setting up with the legal trust deeds, etc. Row Design have designed all the logos. Media Suite have assisted with the website. So BNZ have come on board in terms of setting up the bank accounts. So we just want to help those kids who have had a tragic event occur, as a lot of other people have as well. So that's what we want to try and help most of Christchurch with if we can.
Okay, so what are you doing with the trust? How are you raising funds?
So at this stage, it's been kicked off this Saturday night with a ball, which Debbie's going to talk about a little bit more. We, as a business, we're a food business, so we thought, well, what can we do to assist? As you can see, we've got on the table here some pasta, which we've designed. Yeah. It's in the shape of a fern, representing New Zealand, and in the colours of Canterbury, black and red. So we've got the black and red pasta. We're going to be packaging that up in a 250-gram pack, and we're hoping to sell that through various outlets throughout the country. So
have you been sponsored with that pasta for this?
No, we've got a pasta company ourselves, Pastadoria, based out of Dunedin.
Right.
So our pasta maker down there has come up with a design. We've got the dye out of Italy, and we've started to make that down in our factory. So we're hoping to get that around the country within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Where can we pick it up?
You can go into Pastadoria, pick it up. We're hoping to get other outlets around the city where we can put it on the shelf. So if anyone's out there who's willing to put this product on their counter, we're more than happy to bring along and assist. Okay.
So you've got the pasta and you've got the ball.
Yes, that's correct.
So we'll talk to Debbie about that in a minute. Okay. What else are you doing to raise money for the trust?
Well, we want other businesses to come on board. So we're only a small business here in Christchurch, so we'd like other businesses to come on board if they can. If they've got a product or a service they can offer, or if they just want to make a donation. There's a website there, canterburykidstrust.co.nz. Okay. So they can go directly to the website. There's contact information there, and they can make a donation directly online. So
great. Debbie, tell me about the ball.
Yes, the ball. Well, we've got the ball on Saturday night at Stonebridge in Geraldine. Starts at 7:30. And the fantastic people of Geraldine have got together. We've got some fantastic auction items. One that I'd like to mention is a picture that a painting that Austin Deans has painted, and he's 92. So it looks like he's written a bit of a story, and to tell us about the fact that this could possibly be his last watercolour. So that's very exciting. So yeah, we're all going to get in there and take a group from Christchurch. Yeah. We're starting out at the casino with pre-drinks. So if anyone would like to come along, we've got plenty of tickets left over, and they can give me a call with my number that'll come up shortly. Okay, so tell me more about the ball. What can we look forward to there? Wickets, the band. So we've got the band from Timaru coming along. There'll be an auction, both silent and an auction halfway through the evening. Some fabulous food that's been donated and prepared by Chef at Stonebridge. So yeah, a lot of fun. Tell me about some of the auction items that will be up for grabs. We've got a Queenstown experience, which includes gondola, accommodation for two, and a meal, and also We have a Dunedin experience with very similar accommodation and a meal as well. Various things. We have everything from Warriner Fitnesses to gloves donated from the local manufacturers in Geraldine.
Okay.
So there's about 100 items. Several, as I said, will be silent auctioned, and some mystery envelopes as well.
Sounds like fun. So Tony, you'll be there along with the rest of the staff from South Island Fresh Foods?
Yeah, hope to be, yeah. So we'd like to try and support that in every way, shape and form. So it's important that we get as many people along there as possible to raise as much money as we can, and that'll be the kickstart for the trust.
Yep.
And then from then, hopefully we'll get some other business on board, whether that be via donation, product, service, whatever it may be. Every little bit's going to help.
Can I just ask why you've decided to raise money for children, you know, instead of the big overall Canterbury fund, earthquake fund?
That's a good question, because a lot of the money that's being donated for Christchurch at the moment is going into the main Red Cross fund, and that's fantastic. I mean, all that money is going to go to a great cause. There, you know, as we know, we all experienced the quake on Monday, and it's just not stopping. So any money that can be donated is fantastic. What we wanted to do is say, well, okay, we're a small business. We've been affected. We had to move out of our factory. We're in temporary premises, but what can we do to help? And we wanted to make sure that anything we did, we knew where the money was going. So we thought, well, there are lots of... We've all got kids. Debbie and I both got kids.
Yeah, I think with all of us, you know, an hour either way on that day or a day either way, it could have been any of us.
Could be anybody,
you know, and
so.
we've all got kids, and it was just a way to say, hey, look, we care.
Yeah.
Let's get behind everybody.
Yeah. We recognise that there are kids from, you know, little babies up to 18-year-olds who have lost a mum and dad. So if we can help out in any way, shape or form, whether that be via education or welfare funding or whatever it may be, we thought, well, that's an opportunity for us to see that, you know, we've contributed back to the city.
I think what you're doing is a wonderful thing. Now, if people want to buy the pasta again, where can they get in touch with you?
Best thing to do is go to canterburykidstrust.co.nz.
Yep.
Canty Kids
Yes,
Trust.
C-A-N-T-Y Kidstrust.co.nz.
Yep.
They can go directly to Pastor in Dunedin.
Okay.
Or they can contact South Island Fresh Foods.
Okay. And the phone number for the ball tickets?
Is 027 5160 500. That number, 027 5160 500. And you can also contact me for any information about the pasta as well.
Okay, Tony and Debbie, good to have you on the program.
Thanks.
We'll be back after the break with Bob from Blue Star Taxis. Welcome back to City Life, and I'd like to welcome Bob from Blue Star Taxis. Good to have you here on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I don't know about you. I mean, I'm sure you've probably taken a taxi or two since the earthquake, but I haven't taken any taxis. I don't think I've socialised that much that I've needed a taxi since the earthquake. Is this what you're finding at the moment?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of people used to take taxis that are now staying home. A lot of that work that we did on the busy Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, there's nowhere to go apart from a few pubs around the place, and they're really busy. So we're doing okay there, but there's been a big drop-off in the people going out, grabbing cabs to come home.
Let's look at the impact on the taxi industry following February's quake.
Well, the loss of the CBD was huge. That place was just humming with taxis all the time. All those businesses now have split up. They've moved around Christchurch, trying to find where they are. And you don't have the taxi ranks to be able to sit at, so you have to find the spots. The drivers have to work out where they're going. The whole pattern's changed. We've lost the cruise boats from Littleton. That was pretty good for us. No longer available. So the whole work pattern's changed quite a bit from where it was prior to February. Okay.
So how are your workers?
They're okay. A lot of them live out east. They have problems themselves. They still have to work. They don't get paid unless they work, so they have to go out there and do it. They're all struggling, and they will be for a few months yet. We see long term we're going to be fine and everything's going to be okay, but it's these guys that are trying to put bread on the table every night, having to go out and do these really hard jobs.
So a lot of them owner-operators?
Pretty much all our fleet is owner-operator.
Right.
They own their own cab, just run the one cab.
Okay.
There's a few of them have a driver, but not many. Most of them are single driver operators.
So what are they doing? Like, how are they getting by?
Just doing it, just going out. There's a limited amount of hours that they can work in a day by law, and most of them are working their full stretch.
Okay. Are you finding that many are sort of packing up and sort of selling their cabs?
We've got a fleet of 225 cabs, of which prior to Monday we had about 210. So we lost about 15, I think, have said no, that they're going, or they've gone. Of those, a few were hanging around for the World Cup, and then they were going to retire. They've brought those plans a bit forward. Others have had a hard life in other countries and come to New Zealand to settle in Christchurch, lovely place. And after February, they need to go somewhere safe. So they've either gone to Auckland or Australia, and we've lost a few that way.
Do you know how many you've lost?
All up, about 10 or 12.
Okay, there's quite a few.
Yes, yeah.
But that's not just Blue Star. I'm just thinking, think of all the other taxi companies in Christchurch as well. There's a lot of taxi drivers out there out of work right now.
There would be. Only last week, one of the companies closed down. They just couldn't survive.
Yeah.
So that's put another 50 out. I
don't like the term going forward or moving forward, looking forward. Don't like that term. But, looking forward, what is there in the pipelines for Blue Star? I mean, is there a horizon to look at?
Yes, I think so. Once we've stopped the deconstruction and start constructing again, and once all the roads are opening up and we've got some nightlife and some centres to be able to operate with, the tourists come back, Christchurch is going to be great, and the taxis that survive this next few months, they will do okay again. It will provide a worthwhile living for the guys. It's just getting through those, I think it's about 5 months.
Okay. And so what do you say to the customers out there, potential customers of any taxi company? Go and socialise, get a taxi home?
Please, yes. Don't be frightened, call us. We're out there, we're 24/7. We're available. And our service hasn't dropped off. It's actually got better,
Okay, yeah, you'll be there faster, are you? After the phone call?
Depending on the roads, yes.
Yeah.
And that's a major for us at the moment.
Yeah. How are you dealing with the roads?
We put out pretty much daily updates to the drivers about what's happened overnight, which ones are open and which ones are closed, so that they can choose the right routes. And sometimes passengers don't understand why we've gone one way rather than the way they think that we may have gone. But trust the driver, most of the time he knows the quickest way. And the other impact is on the vehicles. The maintenance costs on vehicles now shot through the roof.
Okay. All right, well, Bob, good luck. I'm sure it will get better and brighter.
Certainly hope so.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you.
After the break, we catch up about keeping the coal in the hole. You're back with City Life, and as promised, here's Geoff Keey with keeping the coal in the hole. Now, what is that about?
I'm from the Coal Action Network, and we're very concerned at the way coal mining in New Zealand is expanding at a really fast rate. We have a planet whose people are a bit imperilled by climate change, and we seem to be heading right down the wrong track.
So what's your biggest focus at the moment?
We're very concerned about the lignite proposals down in Southland. Lignite's sort of dirty brown coal. It's when peat sort of gets on its way to being proper coal, it sort of ends up in this dirty brown wet material which is called lignite, and Solid Energy, the state-owned miner, wants to dig it up, and the result of that will be a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, and it'll be bad for New Zealand and really bad for people elsewhere around the world. So
that's why you think mining coal is so bad?
Very much so. In a way, it's actually not the planet we're concerned about, it's the fact that mining coal and putting all that carbon dioxide into the atmosphere will actually hurt people all over the planet.
In reality, how far do you think your campaigning will get you and your group?
Well, it was only a few months ago that thousands of people were on the streets in Auckland, and the government was persuaded not to mine national parks. And I think with a little bit of time, I think people will actually say no to mining the Southland lignite. Okay.
Do you think, will you be doing the same sort of thing as those big protests?
I think we'll get there. I think we need to talk to a lot of people. We need to, put the government under a bit more of a challenge so that they understand that that people are upset and that other people can see that people are upset. And we need to really tell people what's going on, because a lot of the coal mining that's been happening in New Zealand and that massive expansion in coal mining just is invisible. We just don't see it most of the time.
Now, we had a NASA scientist visit recently. Tell me about his visit.
James Hansen, in fact, he came to Christchurch. I popped in from Arthur's Pass to go to his talk, and what he's really saying is that pretty much all the coal that's in the ground at the moment needs to stay there, otherwise we will have runaway climate change and the results will be catastrophic.
Okay, and who was he here? Who did he tell that to?
So he held a public meeting in Christchurch. He also went right around the country and in fact wrote an open letter to the Prime Minister, John Keey, which appears to have been completely ignored. And this is from the top scientist in climate change around the world.
Okay. Did he pay for his visit here?
He was supported to come here by a group of progressive business leaders, environmental organisations, some individuals. It was a whole group of people who got together to make sure he could come here and talk about what's going on in the world and to really be a bit of a wake-up call as to what will happen if we don't tackle climate change.
Okay. So is this your biggest focus at the moment?
It is. We're also concerned about an expansion of coal mining on the Deniston Plateau, and we were in the west coast, which is next to the big Stockton mine, where they're sort of taking the tops off mountains, and we want to see a phase out of coal over time. And the idea of that is that we want to see a transition, so that rather than the kind of insane sort of Roger Douglas style cut everyone off at the knees, what we want to see is a managed transition out of coal, so that it doesn't harm the people who currently work in the industry, that they get a chance to move out of it, and that we move to a more sort of sustainable future.
Is it just coal mining you have an issue with?
It is. We're very strongly focused. I mean, Coal Action Network sort of says it all, really. Coal is the biggest source of greenhouse gas emissions of any of the fossil fuels, and so it's the one that does need a lot of attention.
I've always wondered how people get into this kind of campaigning. How did you get into it?
Well, I used to love wandering around the hills as a kid. My parents used to take us for holidays in Aotearoa, and my dad would take me around the hills, and I suppose I got interested in the landscape and people who live in it, and I suppose it was that kind of sense of concern and caring that made me think, well, actually, I can't just ignore things that are going wrong out there. And it's like that for most people I know who are environmental campaigners. They see things that are wrong, that need to be put right, and they have convictions, and they're perhaps a little bit willing to stick their head above the parapets every now and then to make those convictions known.
And is Coal Action Network the only group that you belong to?
It is, but there's I used to be the political advisor for Greenpeace based in Wellington. and there's a whole range of organisations who are campaigning against coal mining, ranging from the Greenpeace and the World Wildlife Fund and Oxfam, and then there's people down in Southland who are very concerned about the impact that such large-scale coal mining will have on their own communities, and most of them have actually been shut out of all the decision-making to date because of the way the application for the first bit of lignite processing has gone through.
Okay. And are you still affiliated with Greenpeace?
I am. I'm quite supportive of the organisation. It's I left so I could come and live in Arthur's Pass, and so I couldn't really be a Wellington political advisor and live up in the mountains, but I think it's doing great work, and I think all the organisations who are working together to try and stop sort of coal mining and keep it in the hole, as it were, are doing great work.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to get involved with this as well?
Probably the best thing, just Google Coal Action Network, and you'll find us pretty quickly.
Okay. Geoff, thank you so much for coming all the way from Arthur's Pass to City Life.
That's great.
Now here's Geoff Morton with Cheryl from House of Travel.
Look out the window, look at the grey sky, look at the winter, look how dismal it is. But we're going to put an end to all that, because we're going to take you travelling to Thailand with Cheryl from House of Travel. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you, Geoff.
Nice
Yes, it's certainly dull out there at the moment, and Thailand's looking good.
It certainly is. The vision that I've seen of it, look, absolutely fabulous. Now tell me, why should I go to Thailand for a holiday? Sell it to me.
Right, I can easily do that for you. blue skies generally.
Yes.
Lovely swimming, pools, sea. Pools are huge, much bigger than you're used to seeing around the Pacific. It's got the Land of Smiles, Thailand, so the people are lovely. They're a big part of going to Thailand. Great mix of shopping for the girls.
Good.
And
That's
some of the boys like shopping
Indeed.
in Thailand. It's a bit more interesting. Shopping, lots of activities. You can go kayaking, ride an elephant. So there's a good mix of relaxing on the beach by the pool or on the sand and having a nice cocktail and reading your book.
So it's
or
just a
going
place to
out and
chill
about.
out.
Fabulous place to chill out.
Now, I believe you've got some very, very good deals. Is that
Very
correct?
good deals, yes. We've got 2 deals. One is at the Best Western, and we'll show you some photos of those as they come along. So the Best Western, lead in there is $18.99, and for that you get 7 nights, breakfast, your airfares, transfers, everything you need to get this holiday underway.
So that's Christchurch to Thailand and return.
Yes, we are working with our airline on this deal is Singapore Airlines. So it's straight out to the airport, on the plane, an hour in Singapore and you're in Phuket.
Out of the Christchurch winter.
Straight out.
Into the sunshine.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the first shot, and I believe that's the... now tell us about
That's
this
the
one.
Best Western on Coron Beach. So you get some nice views, different room types. So you can choose what suits you. And
Cheryl, what star is this hotel?
this is a 3-star.
A 3-star.
Yes, this is a lead-in. 3-star is good in Thailand. You can see what you get for 3-star, which is pretty good in anyone's...
Now that's a pool, but is that fresh water or is that seawater?
No, freshwater.
Freshwater.
Yeah, freshwater pools. That one isn't absolute beachfront, so you cross the road to the beach.
Fabulous. Now, where's that?
That's
What's the
just
general shot?
That's Coron, just a shot of Coron of the bay, and that's an evening shot. It's beautiful sunsets there. There's a lot of water activities. You can actually go on those long boats. They're traditional boats in Thailand, out around the islands.
So it's quite shallow and safe and...
Oh, parts are shallow. Along that beach there is actually a surf beach. This is actually the Carter Beach Hotel, and that leads us into our second deal. The first deal was $18.99, and this deal is actually $20.49, but we're up to a 4-star hotel.
4-star hotel. Now, is that a water? Am I sitting on water there?
Yeah, that's a pool,
Yes.
and it's one of the infinity pools that goes infinity pools, so you look straight out to the sea. It's an absolute beachfront property, this one. And that's just a shot of the pools that lead down, and then there's the cafes down to the sea.
Now,
that's an overview. That's just taken from higher up, so you can see that you're right on a little bay there.
So, in other words, I could come out into that pool, have a swim up to the bar.
Yeah, swim up to the bar, absolutely, and then go down to the beach and lie on the beach.
Fabulous. Now, that is a general...
Yes, that's it. No, that's a shot of Carter Beach, where that particular property is. It's looking down... just looking down to one of the little inlets.
And of course, Golden Sands.
Golden Sands in most of the Phuket beaches, in fact all the Phuket beaches I've seen, Golden Sands. Some in inlets like that you don't get the waves as much, quite a lot of surf beaches, which the New Zealanders like.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
And of course that water is so crystal clear, and I mean you can almost see the bottom of it, can't you?
Yes, lovely.
So run us through those 2 packages again, Cheryl.
Right, the first one is a 3-star lead-in at $8.99,
Right.
and the second one 4-star at $20.49. But both of them are all inclusive of breakfast, accommodation, airfares. They get you there. All you've got to do on top of that is buy food.
So you've
Food in Thailand's cheap.
And what are some of the other things you can do? I mean, I know you said the shopping, but the sort of special type of shopping where they can make clothing for you and
yes, or you can buy a lot of, I suppose, for want of a better word, knockoffs. So you can buy your Prada handbag for $20 and your Gucci T-shirt for $20.
And what sort of entertainment? Do you actually have entertainment at these centres?
Yes, most of them have bands. A lot of them have multiple restaurants that you can eat in. But down in the little village areas of Carter, Coron, Patong, there's lots of activity, lots of entertainment. Plus also, as I said, the kayaking.
Cheryl,
yep.
I'm sold. I'm sold. So, if you want one of these fabulous package deals to Phuket and to Thailand, go into your favourite house of travel in Christchurch. There are 10 branches, and I know they'll look after you.
Welcome back to the program. Now, with all that's going on at Christchurch at the moment, many businesses are helping people in need, including Kmart with its trolley dash. Now, Denis, tell me all about it.
Well, we decided that put a little bit back into the community. Obviously, there's a lot of families that are affected on the east side of Christchurch. And coming from having a Shirley branch or a Palms branch, we thought we could put back that way. So what we're doing is we've, through the radio station, we've encouraged families to come forward and tell us all about their dire situations. And we've got teams coming in this afternoon, 4 families, and they're going to do a dash through the Rickerton Kmart store. We give them a minute to grab as much as they possibly can, or obviously they've got bits and pieces that they're targeting, but go for gold, and they get to take that home. So what was it like having to choose just 4 families? Well, luckily we didn't have to. The radio station, More FM, did that for us. Yeah. But we've heard some of the stories, and you know, it's hard regardless. There's so many different situations out there. Yeah. Now, Kara's family was one of the families that was chosen. Now, Denis, if you could just explain why that she was chosen? Or should we get Kara to tell that story? Kara, what was the entry that you put in for it?
Basically, you just had to text More FM with your story, and as much as you possibly could on a text, of all things. And basically, I just told them that I was a single mum with 3 kids. My 4-year-old daughter was 3 at the time. She saw the roof falling down in her preschool, as she keeps on telling me. And my 10-year-old son was at school with his other sister, and luckily the preschool goes to Burwood School with for the evacuation plan, and he just stood there and took over the parent role and looked after his 2 sisters for about an hour and a half until someone could get to them. And basically he's been helping me out as the parent role and keeping an eye on his sister, and now we've got the river threatening to come into our house, and our house is broken, but we're not as bad as some of the others, but we're in the situation where the land is the touch and go part, and we could be, I don't know, somewhere. Yeah. So, that's very touching, actually. Very emotional story. Now, you must have been to Rickerton to suss it out, to decide which area you're going to go to first. Yeah. How many times have you been there to suss it out, and, you know, with your trolley? 3. Have you? Yeah. Where are you going first? Well, basically the main reason I did it was I want to put smiles on my kids' faces again and make them feel happy, and so I just said we're going straight down to the kids' aisle and just going for gold there. And my son said that he wants a ripstick scooter thingy majiggy that flips around 360, and the girls, all they just want is toys. So yeah, okay, and they just want to grab confectionery on the way down. Yeah, so. Yeah. So is it the whole family that all 4 of you can do it? All 4 of us are doing it, but we've opted to bring my brother into it and let my little baby stay out of it, because she freaks out a bit, and and she's just little. Exactly. So she's going to stay on my dad's shoulders and watch us and run around, and fun. So tell me, Denis, about the atmosphere that's going to be there this afternoon. Oh, well, it's going to be hyped up. Definitely hyped up. You know, we're going to be advertising it across the store during the course of the day. And the team have already started that, and we'll be telling customers about it, and you know, we've got staff positioned around the stores, so trolleys ripping around the aisles, you know, make way sort of thing. Yeah. Give them a good run at it. Yeah, because it won't be closed, will it? No. So we open to the public. Normal customers will be in there shopping. Oh my goodness! So does everybody get the dash at the same time? No, we thought that might be a little bit chaotic, so we're going to run them one family after another. Yeah. Tell me about some of the other families that have won this experience. Very, very similar situations to Kara. I mean, there's 3 other families. One family got older children, but a couple of them still living at home, and then just the other 2 families, smaller children, living at home, and it's all the same. Okay. You know. And are there any limitations, or is it free for all? Free for all. Really? Yeah. Yep. That's the reality. You know, make it easy. Put some smiles on the dials. Yeah. Gosh. Definitely. And it's just 1 trolley? 1 minute. 1 minute? Yeah. So does it mean 1 trolley? Here we go.
Does it mean one trolley?
Excellent.
We think a minute's pretty. It seems like a short time, but it's a long time. So we'll play that one by ear.
Okay, but it's not just one trolley.
Well, we haven't sort of put any parameters around that. We're just keeping
Cara,
it easy.
You heard it here first and pretty last.
We're keeping it easy for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a minute to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Cool. Denis, it's just awesome what you've done, you and the rest of the store. Now, tell me about the palms. How is it faring?
It's good. I was in there the other day after the shake, having a bit of a look through with the project managers, and we're really, really pleased with where they're going. Obviously, things have slowed down a little bit with that shake, and they're going back through and they're doing another reassessment. They want to make sure it's 110% right for everyone when they get back in and go. So yeah, we're just on standby at the moment while the engineers go back through and have that look, and then as soon as we can, we'll be in and we'll be refitting, setting ourselves up. I know my team are really keen to get back in. We've got a lot of customers coming across to Rickerton at the moment, and they're all saying we just can't wait. As Cara said earlier on in the makeup room, she just can't wait to get back into the palms.
Yeah.
So yeah, home is home. You know, and everyone wants to be back there.
Yeah. Well, Denis, thank you so much to you and your store. Cara, good luck
Thank you.
to you and the rest of the contestants as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on Saturday Live.
Cheers.
Excellent.
Program. Well, earlier in the week we had on the program Andrew Todd from the V48-hour Furious Film Competition, and now some of the entrants, Janice Gray and Lynn Waldergrave. So good to have you on the program.
Hello, Kanita. Thank you for asking us.
Now tell me about your film.
7 minutes long.
Yes, can't be any more than 7 minutes long.
Right.
And what do you want to know about it? It was called, it's done by Mrs. E Movies, directed by Adam Brookfield, and the three of us are in it, 3 women.
The name of it was the Girls Brigade.
Yeah,
Girls Brigade.
And in the 48-hour film festival, you're given a genre, which ours was romantic comedy, and you've got to use a certain. All the films have to do this: a line, the name, and an article.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the name was Bobby, which is you, Bobby Young.
Yeah. And
you had to use a piece of wire and do anything you like with it.
And the line was.
Oh, I can't remember what the line was.
What do you get? How do you get there?
What is that, or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you use
that?
Yeah, that's right.
And a still. And you had to end with a still frame.
Freeze frame.
Yeah.
Freeze
Yeah,
frame.
that's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So tell me about the story.
Right, well,
Girls Brigade.
We also want to tell you that there was 120 films entered into the Christchurch competition, and there were 12 finalists.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So that's a lot of work. You get the genre on a 7 o'clock on a Friday night. You've got to write it.
Yes, you've got to get you pick it up at 7 o'clock Friday night.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea. They got rom-com, romantic comedy, and he went, I've got 3 women. And then they take it home, and he took it home and
write it.
Adam and his sister wrote it, didn't they?
Yeah. Then on Saturday, the actors, the camera, and it's all go chook. And we started about 8:30 on the Saturday.
9:30.
We finished about 6:30, and it's all go chook. You've got to learn the script on the day and everything like that, man. It's high powered. And then on the Sunday, Adam splices it, does all the things,
edits it, does everything.
Yeah, and puts it in by 7 o'clock on Sunday. Now there were some films at the thing that we saw at the movies. Parts of that didn't make it by 7 o'clock. You can't be 1 minute.
You can't be 1 minute past 7. No, you've got to be in by 7.
Oh my gosh, the stress, the pressure.
Yeah,
that's what's called the 48-hour.
And I think we did pretty well, really, because we didn't have a sound man, we didn't have a lighting man, we didn't have. There was somebody else. There was only Adam that did it, and my son and Bex, who works here now. Yeah. They helped make the film. They did the record keeping, and they tried to get mirrors up to get the light because we didn't have a lighting man and the tree, and so it was pretty full on. And I think we did really well considering that we didn't have very many people.
See, when I think of a 48-hour film festival, I think, oh my gosh, Furious filmmaking competition. I think no sleep. But it sounds like you got some sleep.
No, we got sleep.
We did it for the day.
Well,
I don't think Adam got much sleep, or Mim.
Yeah.
Adam and Mim, his sister. They stayed up all night, I think, right?
Now tell me about the story. I'm really interested in the story.
Are we allowed to? Can we?
Well, yeah, because
it's been played at the film
people have seen it. Have seen it.
It's been played.
All right.
So you're allowed to now.
It's going to damage my reputation. I'll have you know, people. I know that you out there who love me and revere me and think I'm a really nice person. Well, I play a big fat lesbian.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I got the Best Acting Award.
Well
See, and I have this. I'm playing the mother of the girl who's played by Anna McPhail. It's fantastic. She comes home and tells me that she's dumping her boyfriend. She's found somebody else, and I'm really sorry to say this, but she's more your age than mine, and she's a woman.
And how did your character take that?
How did what?
How did your character take that?
I mean, oh my God, she's terrible. She was such a bully. She did this to me and that to me and all blah, blah, blah. And then Janice turns up at the door.
Oh.
Hello, Shona.
Yeah, and I go...
And how was it, you and Anna, hooking up on screen?
Oh, well, no, I hook up with her.
Oh, you hook up with her?
I go for the older... I go for the cat to get the kitten, kind of. As it were.
Her boyfriend's away, it's in Japan, isn't he?
And I think that we had history.
Yeah, we did have history.
At the Girls' Brigade, you see, because Lynn moans about how I...
used to hang around over fences and off trees and steal things off me and stuff like that. We argue about it in the kitchen. I tell her off in the kitchen and what she did to me and that sort of thing. And she's going, oh, but I always, I always had a thing for you.
It was acting, ladies and gents. It was acting.
And then she said, and then she swooped on me in the end because Anna's boyfriend sent her her ring made by the piece of wire. We had to use a piece of wire, and he sent her a ring through the mail because he was away over in Japan helping with the earthquakes and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
what
he
a
said,
man.
"Oh, I really love you after all." And she went, "Oh, what am I going to do?" And because Janice goes, "I know exactly what I'm going to do."
It was acting.
Is acting.
I love the way you're justifying it as acting.
I have to because, this tatty mole says, don't put your tongue in my mouth.
And do you know what happened? I put mine in hers.
Oh, we're getting the wind up, but can we see this at all? Are you going to put it on YouTube or are you going to do a release of it?
It's out in the airwaves now.
I know Adam's got a copy. We're waiting for one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
My relatives are very proud.
I'm sure.
We go back a long way, me and Janice. We've done all sorts of mad things together.
Oh, that's good.
This is the latest one, eh?
Yes.
And she absolutely was just great. She was fantastic.
Thank you.
You deserved it.
I'm very pleased to get the award, and it means a lot to my career. I'm probably going to move to Hollywood.
Yeah, is that right?
Did you
Steven
win
Spielberg is winning
Best
now.
Actress.
Yeah, but did you get anything? Did they actually give you
a certificate?
Oh, and a T-shirt.
No. She yelled out from the audience, "Where's the money?"
Oh, Janice Lynn, so good to have you on the program. We need to have you back on all the time to bump up this program. Now, that is City Life for today. You can watch this on demand, go to ctv.co.nz, click on demand. You can get in touch with us. You can email me, kaneta@ctv.co.nz. You can call us 3777 033. You can write to us, PO Box 1100 Christchurch. Thanks for watching. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.